This video is going to cover what it takes to get a job or career you really enjoy. This video will be based on the book So Good They Can't Ignore You. Now, I actually was not planning to make a video on this until I started reading and I was coming across various examples relevant to people starting out in their career, then also lots of examples of engineers and scientists, which is basically this entire audience, so I felt I had to make this video. So let's get into it. When it comes to a job, there are many traits that define great work or work that you'll enjoy. The author lists 3, but there are many more, of course. See what you would come up with, but these 3 include creativity, impact, and control. Being able to be creative at your job, doing something that has a positive impact in some way, and having control over your schedule and work life, I think we all can agree are desirable traits. Others, of course, may include maybe liking your coworkers, or maybe making enough money to at least support yourself and or a family if that's the case for you. But these 3 I think we can all agree are definitely desirable. But the thing is, these traits are rare and take time to achieve. Most entry-level jobs don't have these traits. It's unlikely you'll land a job with all of these if you're going to graduate college soon, which is why a lot of people get bored with them and lose motivation. It doesn't matter whether you're an engineer, a scientist, a mathematician, and so on. Especially after just getting a bachelor's and going into the workforce, some of you will not like your jobs. I can't say the percentage, but it's just a fact of life, and that's okay. Not every job out there is exactly like you might imagine, and there's no magic career path where everyone can avoid this, but that's okay, and we'll talk about this soon. And the consequence of this is that people will start questioning the job they're in. They try to move on to the next with the hope that the next job is for them, and this process will repeat of continuously feeling like there's something better, and this will drain you. Stop thinking there's a next best job out there somewhere you are meant to do. I'll talk about exceptions because there definitely are some, but let me first explain what you should be doing instead for the most part. What you need to focus on is building career capital, as in basically getting good at your job and acquiring skill or career capital that will make you more valuable and get you jobs with those traits of great work. When you develop your skills, you'll be able to be more creative in what you do, you'll start to have a bigger impact, and you will likely gain more control, even up to setting up your own hours or working from home if possible. Once you develop these traits at a job, then the passion will come. It comes as an after effect of hard work, and it's much easier to have a passion for something that you're really good at. Now you may have some objections to this, like what if I'm just in a really awful job? Well, the 3 main exceptions include 1, that the job presents very few opportunities to develop relevant skills to propel your career. 2 is that the job focuses on something you think is useless or maybe it's having a negative impact. And 3 is that you work with people you really don't like. So it's not like everyone should stick to their job, but often people need to develop their skills and build their career capital to then find passion within their job. The author tells a story of a mathematics graduate who got a job as a software developer and was at the very bottom of the company. Basically, she just checked if code worked and she felt very useless and said it was just a very boring job. But rather than just going for another job, she started teaching herself how to build scripts or computer code that would automate the testing process and save the company money. After developing these skills for a few years, she moved her way up finally to a senior engineer. Then she started to truly gain her career capital and became desirable as an employee. She even asked to have her hours reduced so she could pursue another degree, and that was granted, whereas in the beginning they probably would have just said no, but now the company really wanted to keep her. She ended up becoming so in demand that she became a freelance software developer, in which getting clients was easy and she began to have much more control over her schedule. The general takeaway is to stop going into a job asking what it can do for you and start asking what you can do and what you can offer the company. Build your value and the passion and love for that job will follow. Yes, there are exceptions, but this is especially true for people just starting out in their career. And of the 3 traits I talked about earlier, I'll give more detail on control because this is more powerful than you may realize, and they've done studies to prove it. If you are looking to maximize your happiness, this is one of the many things you should strive for. For example, in one study they followed a few hundred small businesses and about half of them gave control to their employees and the others did not. The ones that offered control grew at around 4 times the rate of the others. They even tried to give control to middle school teachers at a low-performing school district, and it reversed the negative trend of performance within the students. Now, it's very unlikely anyone can walk into their first job and say, I want to work from home and I want to work these hours. But with career capital and building your skill, it's much more possible. This even applies to wanting to start your own business. If you decide you really want to start a blog, let's say, and you have no real experience or proof that it will work, you may not want to just quit your job or college. That blog won't be that enjoyable when no one is reading it. But start it when you have free time, and then once there is proof that it will work, that's when you develop your career capital, and then it will be more ideal for you to quit your job and start to enjoy your new endeavor. Remember, Mark Zuckerberg didn't drop out of college and then start making Facebook. He worked on it while he was in college, and then he quit after he saw that it was gaining a lot of traction. Now, the overall concept of this book is that you shouldn't just follow your passion. Instead, you should develop skills and career capital for a job, then become, as the book says, so good they can't ignore you, and the passion for the job will come. Now, reading this made me think a lot about my goals and my career path, but I had a lot of questions, as I'm sure you have while watching this. One thing I considered was, okay, but where do you start? If you shouldn't follow your passion, then do you just randomly select a major or a company to work for? I mean, is everyone supposed to just stay with what they choose and become good? Well, it's not that simple. If you are very passionate about something like computer science, engineering, becoming a doctor, science, and so on, that are fields with very defined career paths, then of course do it. You are very lucky you have that passion, and the whole don't follow your passion doesn't totally apply to you, although it does a little, which I'll get into soon. But the reality is that most people either don't know what they're passionate about, or they're passionate about video games, music, playing a sport, and so on that aren't quite as marketable. Even though it's very possible to make money from them, the career path is just much less defined. So what you should do is find something that interests you but can provide an income. Still do your research on majors to pick if you're going into college, and pick one you'll enjoy even if you aren't as passionate about it as you are playing the guitar. But then you need to go all in and become as great as you can. For most people, it's not about discovering your passion, then finding a job that you love. It's about picking an interest that is valuable to the market, because you do need to make money, then going into a job, and then becoming so good and building your career capital that the passion comes with you. Don't put so much pressure on whether you're in the right place or what you were put here to do. These answers will come with hard work and improving your skills. Now, for the people who are maybe passionate about engineering or science with a more defined career path, again, go for it. But once you graduate, it's possible you won't love your job, because hey, you're new and that's okay. Or you might hit a point where you struggle with the major and you question whether you made the right choice. But the thing is, that's when it's the time to develop your career capital, go all in, and become skilled at the job or subject, and you will leverage your way into something you really enjoy. Yes, if you know you're in the wrong major, then you might want to switch. But if you're just struggling and that's it, it's not a good excuse for switching. Again, it's much easier to be passionate when you're good at something, so unless you have a compelling reason for leaving a major, you should keep going. Then for those who are graduated and maybe have started their career, if you really don't like your job and then you get a job offer from, let's say, Google, then yes, by all means, maybe you should switch. But in general, just don't go bouncing from job to job in search of something that you were meant to do. Then some of you may have interest and think you have a career path laid out for you, but things might not go as you expect. The author even tells a story of a student who loved math as a high schooler. Then she took a bio class that she also really loved. She got into college and decided to actually go with bio with the intention of becoming a doctor. But during her time as a bio major, she focused on genetics and suddenly got an interest for studying infectious diseases in Africa. After developing her skills, she actually decided that's what she wanted to do. And now she works as a professor in computational genetics and uses computers to help us understand DNA sequences. So you see, she picked her interest and thought she knew what she'd want to do, but things changed as she developed her skills and knowledge. A highlight of this is that many careers have more complex origins than simply having a passion. So don't worry if you're not sure where your career is going or what you should be doing, because most people don't. And if you are passionate about something with a less defined career path, like playing the guitar, but you want to try your own thing and develop a business maybe, then you shouldn't shy away from it, but just don't quit college or your job and hope that it works out for you. You need to build your career capital, become very good, see how well you can do, and then once you get some traction and feel more secure, then you could probably quit. Situations will differ from person to person, of course, and I know there are people out there with no clue what they want to do, and that's okay. Keep looking, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. These things take time. I hope this helped. If you liked the video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.